Hello, welcome back, guys. This is the Trekway. That is Mr. Gray. I'm Mr. Trev. That's my new nickname. Just came up with it there, by the way. Gray, Mr. Trev. Hope you like it.
Yes, great.
Did we
Like
take
Dr. Cat.
Doctor? Oh, me as well. Did we take a last week off, or was the finale was 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
it
I think it
was.
was only the 1 week. Well,
No,
it's
a
two
week and
weeks
a week and a
now.
half ago. A week and a half ago. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's
yeah.
2 weeks by almost two
By
weeks now.
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Math, not good. Me. We took a week off just because, well, we wanted to chill and relax a little bit, and the season finale's gone and finished of Lord X, and
hmm
I enjoyed it. Gray, not so much, but that's why we have both of us.
Well, I mean, as a season, it's still about where it's always been, like around 7 out of 10. If you took the whole season,
We
you know.
we can start on that really, really briefly, right? I never had that in the notes, but still. So we thought we'll do some specials and random stuff about Trek over the next few months, and it might not be necessarily every week. There won't be a schedule. It's just we've got to enjoy doing what we're doing, and we do for the most part. You might find it'll be. This is always we've always done this like raw, Gray, very kind of raw,
Yep.
and even on your pod at GGR, which we'll
hmm
get to in a sec. That's kind of raw as well. Yeah, we have some like notes and bullet
Yep.
points we want to talk about, but that's just to guide us, and then we just go and do our own thing.
hmm
And we like that because that's like sticking a camera on us. You're missing the other thing as well. There you go. See, and I only paid them for one of those things as well. Believe it or not, that's the best of it. Yeah, it's always been raw, and we don't do any fancy editing and stuff because it's two mates talking about Star Trek, and that's the way I always wanted it to be, so that it doesn't feel like a chore. So it might be even more raw going forwards with reviews and stuff like that. And I was considering doing this one live, but I'll probably save them for the reviews. Actually, specials, or maybe what to do slightly different. But yeah, speaking of which. Gray's got an entertainment pod as well, which I highly recommend you guys do tune into, because if you like Star Trek, you'll like this. We don't tend to talk about Star Trek on it because we've got our own this pod here, but you know the odd thing comes up, and we talk about stuff that sits similar to it. So the science fiction will be in there, Star Wars, Expanse, other great shows that have been and will come. We talk
Yep.
about them. We talk about Marvel, DC, and popular movies and TV shows in general around with our colleagues and friends. So we're doing another
Yep.
episode on the 22nd, I think, of November. So a couple of days after that, we will be Gray will release the episode, and it'll be on YouTube. It'll be on all podcasting platforms, and you can get them at Gray's Green Room on the Twitters as well, if that's your thing. And last, I think another quick plug as well. It's only fair for Nick, our friend and colleague Nick. We do a gaming podcast with, but we want to plug this as well because that's the place to come and chat with us on his Discord, which is a big server for lots of things. There's lots of different genres and stuff in there and channels. Gray's got one for entertainment. I've got one for the Trekway, and the link is always below for that. We do a gaming podcast with him every week as well, so you're always welcome to come along and watch or listen to the VOD. So it's Extreme Gaming Podcast at Extreme Game Podcast. But I'll link it. Don't remember. But yeah, T's and C's out the way, Gray.
We stay busy.
Yes, we are both staying busy indeed. So we're going to do some specials, and today I thought it was after discussing it with Gray, we're going to talk about the future of Star Trek in general, but touch on some points like Prodigy season 2, when we think we'll see it, what we want to see, and the future of the other shows as well, when we think they'll come, what we want to see, that kind of thing, and just do a little catch up. It'll go in no particular direction. I have 3, 4, 5 bullet points to keep me from not sailing off the map, but just at least going in a straight line, so we know what's what. So yeah, we may as well briefly mention the point at the start. I said we'd talk about Grey, and that was Lord X season 4 overall. Now, I'd probably give it overall a 6 out of 10. Because we were giving a lot of episodes lower scores that wasn't as funny as it used to be, wasn't as entertaining. The writing could be all over the place and not make sense a lot of the time, and that's why I wasn't a big fan of it. The last episode, a lot of Star Trek fans did seem to like this. Gray was not such a big fan, and I understand why, and I respect the fact why you didn't like it, and I understood your points, Gray. What would you give that season out of as an average, and why? What was good? What was bad?
I don't disagree with your 6. I'm kind of being nice and giving it a 7, only because it's not bad. It could be better. It's not terrible. There's some shining light episodes and other ones that aren't so great. And when you start to lump season 1, 2, 3, and 4 together or whatever, you kind of get that 7 out of 10 vibe.
Yeah.
It's not consistent enough to be even close to 8 out of 10 or for sure not 9 out of 10. However, the interesting thing is that the show season 4 was renewed actually very quickly as season 3 came out.
Yeah, true.
And season 5 was renewed pretty quickly too. So apparently it's making the money, most likely because it costs far less than a lot of the other series as well. So there's something to be said about that. And I think, like, as we talk about this, the problem is, or part of the problem, yes, part of the problem is the strike that's now over. So the writers are back to writing, the actors are going to be back to acting. But that's not the only thing. This whole last year, say year and a half, has been like real turmoil for all the streaming companies out there. They're all losing money. Paramount Plus is the one that handles Star Trek. And I think they're having the same problems because they've been slowing down their schedule and trying to spread things out a little bit. For instance, and we'll get to it, but Discovery season 5 has been done for quite a while, but they didn't want to play it right away, so they're kind of stretching it out as far as they can. So that's another part of the problem too, just the fact that that's all happening. Plus, the other part of the problem, I think, is what you and I have been complaining about all along, and we still don't get it, is that they used to produce 22 episodes, and now they have a problem producing 10. I understand that there's a certain amount of more quality involved. Okay, fine. But even if you want to throw that in there, I mean, okay, well then say you can't do 22, do at least 15 then.
And every year, not every 18 months or 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, the cycle used to be every 9 months, roughly, the season for television would start. Like you have your 9 months, and then in the summertime, there would either be reruns or summer shows. And then when the summer shows are over, you'd start all over again. So more or less, your regular season was 8 to 9 months long, and then they'd be producing again, and then same thing over and over and over. So in 9 months, let's say that the most, they were producing 22 to 24 episodes. Now it takes them like a year and a half to make 10, 8,
if that,
maybe 12 if you're really lucky. So it's just like, where have things gone wrong? I know things cost more money, but man, I mean, it's crazy. So that puts us in a little turmoil, I think, here at the Trekway, because we're trying, we love Star Trek and we just want to see Star Trek, and it's just like we've gotten used to seeing, I guess, more of it. Granted, it's not all been good, but and I don't mind the slowing down if the quality gets better. But do we have faith, Trev, that the quality's gonna stay at least the same or get better? I hope so.
Well, we'll certainly touch on that because that was a very good point. Great. I know what the naysayers will say when it comes to Trek now, and the things you just said, takes a lot longer, blah blah blah, less episodes compared to what it was back in the day. Yes, back in the day they had less money, they were working longer hours, arguably. Everything was a bit more difficult, but they'll say now that, oh yeah, but the CGI is better. Yes, it's better. I would expect it to be better. It's 30 plus years later. It should be better. More bang for your buck. It shouldn't cost more. Maybe CGI does cost a lot. We know that, Hollywood. But back in the day, in fact, that was a Gray posted, and if you go to the Discord in the Trekway channel, you'll see this. Gray posted up something about what Star Trek movie? Was it the first Star Trek movie? Yeah,
Star Trek 2.
Star Trek 2, right? So Star Trek 2: The Wrath of Khan was the first motion picture where this little computer, I don't know the model of the computer. It was the CGI was done on this computer, all the CGI, and it was the first movie of its kind in Hollywood, major movie, to actually do this, and that's fantastic. So you can't say that you need longer to do the CGI. We do love the shiny in Star Trek, the pew pew, the bang bang. I love that. I wouldn't have it any other way. But that's only half of it for me. The other half is the characters and how good they are and how good the writing is for them. So focus more, give a little bit more money to your writers, and don't worry about so much CGI. Tone it down a little bit. I'm sorry, we had Deep Space Nine, where the first half of that didn't have a main starship, so there wasn't as much CGI. It was still great. So I don't buy what they're saying, Gray. However, I've got to balance that by going, we do get some well-written episodes, not always, but then back in the olden days, we got some great episodes as well. Yes, they had the filler episodes, but we had great writing back in the day, Gray, because the writers were the same for the most part. They stayed on the same writing roster most seasons. A lot of them were Star Trek fans. Compare the old seasons of Star Trek to Picard season 3, then you'll see what I'm talking about. That's the quality being more aligned to where it used to be. So I think
not a lot of the writers back in the original series were famous science fiction writers already. And put out books and then and afterwards too. So, we know the writing was good. We know the production budgets were low. We know there was long hours. But regardless of all that, if you're putting out less episodes and you work your budgets properly, which obviously they didn't, you should be able to put out episodes in a relatively timely manner.
Yeah. I think, Greg, please come back with your response and answer to this. I think the minimum we're expecting these days is a minimum of 10 episodes once a year from each season. And the well-written. You have the one-off where it's a little bit, okay, that was your filler, but the rest of them have got to be 7 out of 10s minimum. What do you think? Do you agree? Am I being too lenient, harsh?
No, I think if you're going to feed us only 10 episodes and you're going to take a year, 9 months a year or whatever, or even longer sometimes, to make it, at the most, I only want to see one filler episode, and it doesn't mean the filler episode will be bad. It could be just as good. Just got to do it right. Yeah. But every one of those shows should consistently be no lower than a 7 out of 10. It should be 7 or higher. Yeah. I mean, you got the time, you got the money, you got the writers, you got the actors, you got the talent. I mean, there's no excuses. I mean, there just isn't.
No.
I know some things do happen, and to slightly change the subject, you can see the Marvel universe has produced a bunch of TV shows, and most of them were all crap. I mean, there's a couple of good ones, yes, but most of them were garbage.
Loki season 2. Oh, spoiler for GGR. That was so good.
Oh, it was really good. We'll talk about that. That's one of the few, though. Yeah. So the point is that how are you putting out garbage like that and you're spending that kind of money? You forgot how to write. You forgot how to produce. You forgot how to, I mean, they should go back. Too bad. Some of the guys in the original series that were in the production could go back and teach them a few things on how to get things done in time. And stuff.
It is a very relevant and good point you brought up, Gray, because I'm not a fan of seeing. It's kind of what Disney do, really, where they do maybe 6 episodes and they're all over the place. They're 50 minutes an hour, or they're half an hour here, and I think what was the title I keep forgetting about, and this is relevant to the whole Star Trek thing. Secret Wars, was that the second last one? Yeah, with Samuel L. Jackson, who I love.
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion. Sorry, I always get them mixed up the titles.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Samuel L. Jackson's great in everything he does, right? He can be in all Avengers movies and Marvel movies. I don't care about. He's brilliant. He's not the problem. The problem is they don't know how to write for that either, and it's very similar to Star Trek, where you're getting some. I don't know if there's any seasons that had less than 10 episodes. I don't know if there is. There may be the odd one.
I have to look back. I don't
Yeah,
think so.
I think 10 was usually the minimum.
I mean, personally, my opinion is there should be nothing less than 13 shows. If you remember,
Well, okay.
wait, this goes back a bunch of years, but when they started going into what they call the summer season, okay, so the main shows were off and the summer season came up. They produced 13 episode shows that were meant to be shown in the summer. Then eventually you had some shows go through what they call shortened seasons, so they were only 13 episodes, and then they would have 13 episodes of another show, whatever it was. So the 13 and 13 would equal a whole season, but it would be two different shows. But they never made less than 13 episodes because 26 shows was at that time the magic number for a season, so that you could syndicate it, sell it, repeat it, whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, well then let's try playing around with two different series in one season and make it 13 each. Then all of a sudden it started getting to 12, 11, the streaming can't happen, and then it's like 10, 8, 6, 5, 12. I don't know where they are anymore.
Yeah, they could argue that the opposite of that is the episodes are different lengths because they don't need to worry about syndication, they don't need to worry about adverts, commercials. They, for the most part, unless you're on one of those Netflix tiers that has that on, but streaming started off not having that, so they will have half an hour for an episode if that is enough time to tell the story in that episode, or an hour, depending on what they need. I don't like that, and as we argued before in GGR as well, that now that the strikes are finally just over, it's all over the place. It's not consistent work for these actors, and that includes Star Trek actors. That includes Michelle Hurd, who I talked about last time, Rafe Musica from Picard, who would talk about. She was basically, if you read between the lines, she preferred the old system because it was consistent work for the actors. And bear in mind, we've said this before, only the top couple of percent make the major bucks in Hollywood. The majority of actors, well, I earn a decent living, but it's not enough to live a millionaire's lifestyle. So they need that regular work. And I'm just hoping these strikes that are now over, it sounds like they've got most of what they want out of it. So hopefully we get our writers back on. Well, we had our writers for several weeks now. Our actors back on stage, and we can actually start recording stuff. But I'm glad they spun out Star Trek a little bit, Gray, because, and that's what we'll come on to in a moment with Prodigy Season 2, because, or actually maybe we'll reverse it and do Disco first, because otherwise we'd have a really barren year for Star Trek next year, like everything else. Yeah. And I don't get me wrong, I think they're going to go from 5 shows down to 3, like they said. I love loads of Star Trek, but the problem is if you have loads of Star Trek on, there's no way you can keep the quality up, Gray, and have 5 shows on. It's just no way. I'd rather have 3 shows, that's 2, Trevor, count 3 fingers, 3 shows on every year and have them good quality and have them spread out throughout the year. 3, I'm happy with that. I'm not greedy. And then Disco's probably the next one.
Right, you could have a series then every, 4 months or so.
Yeah.
And which is fine. And if it's done quality, and if they do it minimum 10 episoms and more,
it's 2.5 months there, small break.
Right. I would rather even do again, I would think they should do 12 or 13, but whatever. Then that would be fine. As long as the quality is of Picard Season 3 type quality, I think we'd all be really happy.
That's high. That's a high bar, man. That's a high, and
yeah, but that's not. But it's not. It's a high bar now.
Yeah,
it never used to be a high bar. It's become the high bar because everything is garbage. Just look at Picard Season 1 and 2, especially 2. I mean, it's just total crap. And there's a bunch of other Star Trek that's crap too. And so now when you're at the bottom of the barrel, anything above it looks great.
Yeah, that's true. Of course.
So all Terry Metalis did is return it back to the former glory, so to speak, of what we used to get out of TNG most every week.
That reminds me, Gray, actually, you made me. This is where we go. It goes in tangents. We bounce off each other and we remember these points that are actually important to bring up. There's every chance that our Lord and Savior Terry Metalis, all bow right now in his presence, amen, is probably going to get snapped up now. And I don't mean Thanos is back again. I mean the people have seen from Disney his quality in Star Trek Picard Season 3, and there's rumours that he will do a Marvel movie. Now, Good for him. Great. He. If you're a Star Trek fan, you're more than likely going to be a science fiction fan or a superhero comic book fan, right? You're more than likely to be. So he will do justice to a Marvel movie. But it means we may be without him for a Star Trek legacy show or a Star Trek Picard TV movie that they were rumouring about. So, I mean, this is it. You got to move quick.
I don't think I hope that's not going to be true. But considering the fact that if you're going to shorten it up to, only 3 series a year, then there's room to put Terry Matalas on a project. Assuming that he doesn't sign a long-term contract and he signs deal by deal, which a lot of them do these days, he could easily sign a deal for Legacy, and we could see Legacy maybe in a year and a half or something like that from now. That's not impossible.
Well,
but like you said, though, they would have to tie him up to some kind of a separate deal pretty soon.
Well, I mean, I hope it doesn't happen. But the backup, this is all rumours. This is stuff that I've read online or Gray's read and shared to me, whatever. The rumour backup, which won't replace Terry, but I can accept it comfortably, is so if our Lord and Saviour is God, then Jesus Christ is Jonathan Frakes. And that was the other rumour, because he is a very good director, especially Star Trek director. You should watch the Shuttle Pod show. I love that. They do some great interviews with Star Trek people, and they've done a great one with Jonathan Frakes. And he's so down to earth. He's cursing and swearing a little bit. He's just relaxed. He's comfortable. He's having a laugh, chatting to fellow Star Trek actors. And he tells some really, really funny stories in that, and why he doesn't direct movies anymore, because he made an absolute arse of Thunderbirds, the movie. And he admits that, but everything else he's done great. Star Trek, every Star Trek show that comes out, he's directing at least 1 or 2 episodes each season. So if he came in and done a future Star Trek series, not a problem. Sign me up. I'm assuming you would say the same, Gray.
I would say the same in terms of directing, but you still got to have the writing. So Matalas had almost everything to do with the writing. And that's the issue. But Frakes can only direct what's written, and Frakes has directed episodes for some shows that I don't really care about.
I made a small mistake. He wouldn't be the director; he'd be the showrunner. Apologies, which was what Terry Matalas was, and he's never had a job that big before, but.
I'm not saying I wouldn't want to see it. I think he would deserve a chance. Yes, but I'd be a little worried because, again, he's a proven great director. He's not a proven writer, and he's not a proven showrunner. So I don't know. If you're a showrunner, a true showrunner,
you don't have to write.
You have been a writer. You've been a writer,
okay.
and you've had a career as a writer, and you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah,
it's expected. He doesn't. So you're throwing him in on something that's kind of like.
This is why Terry got where he was, and I was going to say, well, Terry was given a chance, but he was writing before, so.
Writing, producing. I mean, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't mean that Frakes could. What would be good is if they hire somebody with talent, similar to Terry, and have the two of them collaborate.
Yeah.
Because that way,
you don't
Frakes
direct
can learn.
You don't direct every episode anyway. No director does the whole season. You do a couple of episodes, probably a season. You would get burned out doing it the whole time. So, yeah, I would love to see it. He is a Star Trek man. He knows what it takes, and that's what we're looking for, because it's very hard to make a poor season of Star Trek if you are a Star Trek person. So, but yeah, sorry, we're massive tangents, but that's what we do. So the future Trek, the next show to grace our screens will be Star Trek Discovery Season 5, the last season, which I'm bittersweet about. I probably enjoy it a bit more than Grey. It's not my favourite Star Trek series by a long shot, but nor is it at the bottom of the list. I do enjoy it. I enjoyed the last season. That was, no other Star Trek show has ever went to that great length of explaining what an alien species was and how far out their depth they were for communicating to a species, even simple things. So that boggled the mind. It has been done in Star Trek before, but not to that degree, is what I'm trying to say, Gray. And I got Gray to watch this and catch up, and he got to the stage where he did enjoy it more than he did at the start, but obviously it's not your top show. So are you... I think we're going to see it about February time, give or take a couple of weeks. No announcement on date yet. But are you excited for that, Gray? Are you happy, sad? What are you thinking?
I'm not going to go so far as to say I'm excited, because I'm not. I am excited only in terms of just seeing some Star Trek, but that's just because I love Star Trek.
Yeah.
When it comes to Discovery, I hated season 1. Season 2 was better, but still wasn't that great. Season 3 actually wasn't bad at all. I did really.
That should have been
season
season 1. They should have just started here, and it would have been fine.
Right. But then I was a little disappointed in 4. I thought 4 was a come down from 3, even though it was still decent. They had some good stuff here and there. It definitely fell off from 3. So now I'm sitting there thinking, like, what's 5 going to do? Is it going to be more of a season 3 or a fall off still of 4? I don't know.
That's a difficult one, Gray.
It's also too, and you can probably identify with this. When you're a real hardcore Star Trek fan like we are, if you hear about a show, especially one that you like, that's coming back for another season, you're like, you can't wait. That you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You want to. I'm not like jumping up and down waiting for Discovery season 5.
Okay.
Just not. Now, I would sooner, and this is saying something probably, but if I had to sit there and compare what I would rather see a new season of, and I threw up Lower Decks or Discovery, I'd sooner see a newer season of Lower Decks than Discovery.
Lower Decks is popular though.
So that'll kind of give you an idea, and sort of.
It's not a great example because Lower Decks is really popular in general across with Star Trek fans.
No, it is, but it's animated. It's not a live action thing, but still.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of when the crossover, but that's another story.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That was a good episode. That.
But I just want to see stuff more on the caliber of Strange New Worlds, which I thought was pretty good. Is there room for improvement? Sure, there is. But overall, season 1 and 2 is the only Star Trek show made in years that actually placed in the Nielsen top 10. So there you go. That means that people, both Star Trek fans and non-Star Trek fans, liked it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have pushed it into the top 10.
Yeah. None
of the other shows made it in the top 10. 0. Now, some episodes of Picard season 3 did make it into the top 10. So now you see that the better shows can actually be popular because it's proven. As to whether that can be maintained or whatever. We hope. Whatever. To kind of get back to Lower Decks to give you an idea of length of time for it, I was reading up that they said it takes something like 6 months to write 10 episodes.
For Lower Decks?
Yeah, that's
really?
how long it took. That's how long it took for season 4. 6 months to write 10 episodes. And I'm sitting there going, like, so you have a writer's room, and it took you 6 months to write 10 episodes. In the old days, and I'm talking about too old, right? TNG days, and maybe
you'd write
go back
an episode a week.
They're writing episodes every freaking week. The writers basically maintain, I believe, if I remember correctly, they maintained about a 2 to 3 weeks ahead of filming.
Yeah.
So here you have writers, and it wasn't like a room full of writers. It was a couple writers,
That's
right?
A small room,
but not a room full. These days they have roomfuls of writers. 6 months for 10 episodes. So, yeah, okay. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Maybe that's part of their shows. Maybe that's a part of the conditions with the strike, though. Maybe that was unfair and harsh for back then. I don't know.
I don't think so. Well, okay. Even if you want to take that into account, then it'll take a little longer, but not this long.
No, not at all. No, that's taking the piss.
I mean, if you're going to do that, then, and I don't want to see this happen, but I would almost rather there be no Star Trek TV series, and then just do Star Trek one-off movies, TV movies. That's it. Put all your quality into one-offs and just show, like, I don't know, 4 to 6 good Star Trek TV 2-hour-long movies instead of seasons.
Interesting. I like that idea.
I mean, I really think, to be honest with you, they should be doing that now. I think they should do like maybe two series and a made-for-TV movie.
They will be though, but it'll be a TV movie every 2 years because the next one is going to be, and I agree with this, is going to be Section 31 TV special with Michelle Yeoh. And the only reason it's a TV movie is she's an Oscar-winning actress, so she will not be able to have the time to do 6 or 10 episodes.
Alert. I hear it.
Did you? Yeah, I didn't mute in time. See, I could mute, but then I'm talking, so it's going to be a bit awkward.
Well, the only reason that Section 31 is even coming off the ground is because Michelle Yeoh won an Oscar. If Michelle Yeoh didn't win an Oscar, I don't think that movie would end up being made. Period.
I don't know if I agree with that. Respectfully, Gray. She said herself she likes committing to projects, and if she said she's going to do something, she's very loyal. She will do it. She did say she would do that, but she had to negotiate to do less time.
Right, but she said she would do it. This is before the Oscar winning. She said she would do it if that's what's going to happen. Well, all actors say that. But but I remember Section 31 was starting to fade away, right alongside Star Trek Fleet Academy and all that. And then all of a sudden, when she won the Academy Award, I knew it. As soon as she won it, I said, they're going to start talking to her right now. And within a day, they're already talking to her, like, going like, hey, and the announcement was made like within a week, I think, of her winning the Academy Award. That's the way business works.
Yeah, I seriously can't wait for that. I know Gray's not as excited. I love the cloak and dagger of Section 31.
Don't get me wrong. I am looking forward to seeing it. Put it this way: I'd rather see her in that than the Oscar movie that she won her. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve the award.
Yeah, that's not my cup of tea.
But I saw the movie, and I'm sorry, I didn't like the movie at all.
Yeah, she plays a really good role in Star Trek. Stick to that. I can't wait to see her in that.
She's been in other movies, and she's very good in other movies. I just personally thought that I just didn't like the movie. Sorry,
I prefer a series. Don't get me wrong, I would, but this is the second best thing. I actually watched. What was I watching the other day? I'm watching a lot of this channel on YouTube that has Star Trek clips in it, and one of them was season 7 of Deep Space Nine, Section 31 episode where Sloane's in it and the Romulans are in it. Sloane, one of the chief guys of Section 31, and he gets killed at the end. Spoiler alert, Bashir's there, and then it panned to another scene of Voyager, and I was like, I'm so confused right now. What, did I forget this episode? So I went and done my research, and it's not Voyager, it's just an Intrepid class, and I've had Neelix's kitchen with another like set wall or something. I was like, see, give me Section 31 stuff, man. I love that. And I also liked it in Discovery as well. That was very cloak and dagger, Section 31.
Yeah. I mean, it has some legs, and if they spend their time and make a really good movie, I think it'll be worth it.
What do you want to see in the last season of Discovery then? Bear in mind they're in the future. They've got the Federation's back up and running, but they've got to build the momentum back up, Gray. Starfleet Academy's kicked off again with Tilly. That's a slow but sure thing. Starfleet HQ is some advanced bloody ship that can split into sections and go to warp. That was far-fetched. And the shield is generated by all the collective starships. I'd like to see more of the starships because those things are batshit crazy and cool. The Voyager J, and what do you want to see? Where do you think they can go?
You're not going to like what I'm going to say about this.
Probably. Try and be glass half full, my man.
The thing I'm looking... I can't. The thing I'm most looking forward to on Star Trek Discovery Season 5 is it for it to be over.
Wow.
Wow. Because it unfortunately the series epitomizes all the stuff that started to go wrong with Star Trek, and unfortunately it has nothing to do with the actors. It has everything to do with show running, producing, writing. So it's not the actors, but I just I'm not saying I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to say I will. If the episodes are good, I will say that they're good. Or if they're bad, I will say that they're bad. But I just feel like, enough already. I really wanted to see it end on season 4 and just be done. So when they renewed 5, I was actually kind of shocked because I had heard a lot of rumors that wasn't ever going to happen. And the reasoning behind a lot of that is they feel that in general. If you have 5 years of a show, you can syndicate it, just the crap out of it, and make some money.
True.
So they're gonna try to do that, and I understand, because if they can make a few bucks on it, in syndication, since the shows are already done, all that money is found cash, pretty much. So
Yeah.
that's even if you pay residuals and stuff, it's still pure cash because there's no production cost. So I get it, but you
Well,
know, I,
certainly then, I would always hope you would be balanced, and I think you are for the most part with that. And I know you hate certain things about Star Trek, and I just would hope you would not use that
look,
element too much.
I never thought anything. I never thought I would dislike something, dislike Star Trek more than Star Trek Discovery until Picard season 2 came out.
Oh yeah, that was
So
the worst. Season 1 and 2.
so now
Picard are both
Picard season
crap.
2 unfortunately holds the award for the worst Star
You
Trek.
think that's
garbage.
worse than season 1? I think they're both equally crap because
Oh,
they
they
had
are.
Picard being killed
It's
off.
very
and,
close, but two definitely takes the cake, but one's like right there.
Well, that's saying something. No, I agree with you, mate. Season 1 and 2 Picard are definitely worse than anything Discovery's ever done.
Right.
At least
I would definitely watch a Discovery episode before I ever go back to
at least
season 1 and
Discovery
2.
fixed what it messed up for the most part.
Right.
So I can forgive, but I can't forget. Season 1 was a write-off. Season 2, they realised their mistakes and they started trying to fix them. But that takes you the whole season with bringing the Enterprise in and bringing Pike in to set up a season 3, which is like a soft reboot. And that's the way it should have started, because it would have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
A future show with a starship lost in time. You imagine, like,
Dude,
think Voyager Caretaker, the first episode is
yeah.
taken away to the 31st century.
Can you imagine? It didn't happen, but can you imagine for a second that they had the quality of Picard season 3 all the way through 1, 2, and 3? Oh my God, we would have been like loving three seasons of that kind of quality. In fact, that's all the more the reason that it's amazing that season 3 did as well as it did, because when you're carrying that kind of baggage of 2 seasons of crap, and everybody knows it's crap, and yet all of a sudden, boom, season 3 is like stupendous and everybody loves it. That's hard to do when you're looking back and saying like, wow, those seasons stunk, and now all of a sudden, boom, it's great.
The only mistake that our Lord and Savior made in that season 3 of Picard was renaming the Titan A, which is a perfectly good starship, into the bloody Enterprise G. That infuriated me, and he made a massive mistake there. Okay, someone of that caliber, Star Trek understanding, to do that, and one line, oh yeah, it's probably been beefed up in new phasers and blah blah. Just one quick line, as Gray and I always say, that would have explained perfectly. Oh yeah, it looks the same, but it is a flagship. It is strong as hell. Mention that.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I mean, I do agree with you 100%. But
I agree, and it's pissing all over the Titan A as well, which has got its own lineage as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, but again, I hold out the hope that if we ever see a Star Trek Legacy, that they'll redeem themselves by showing
that
this new Enterprise is hot stuff, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whether we see Legacy, we'll talk about, I guess, in a minute, but I don't know. So in any case, you're looking at Lower Decks as not being out until the earliest, the end of 2024, and it could be early 2025. So you got a year, man, before that comes back on. So what do we have in between? We have Star Trek Discovery that they say is going to start in February or something. I don't know if it's actually going to start February or March or April, or I don't know. I hope it starts in February, just so there's something. Yeah. But even if it were to start in February, thanks to the writer's strike and actor's strike, and I'm glad they got what they wanted. Don't make it sound like sorry about that. That I'm trying to say that was such a bad thing. It was bad only in terms that it happened.
Yeah.
But the point is that it did happen. Nothing you can do about it. And so now you're talking about after Discovery's off, and if you got to wait till the end of 2024, we're looking at like 6 to 8 months or more before any new Star Trek comes on Paramount Plus. That's it.
Well,
so there's no way you can throw anything together fast enough that would do it. They're gonna have to come up with, I don't know what they're gonna come up with, but I hope they don't come up with more. What was it? They were just had on. Was it
Oh,
Short
the
Treks?
shorts, yeah, they're always
Oh
crap.
my
They're always
god,
awful. Yeah.
that was horrible. Those things were terrible. I mean, I understand what they were trying to go for, but boy, that gave me no hope that there's going to be anything. Any episode of Lower Decks, even the stinky ones, were better than that.
The stinky ones.
That stuff was awful.
They cracked me up,
So,
Gray.
so now what's going to happen? I mean, they can't throw together a movie fast enough.
Yeah.
We're already starting to get our Star Trek, Jones in Attack because we can't get enough Star Trek. And we'll have to wait till February.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about, okay, well, February, March, and then so February and March will be maybe halfway into April, and then it's gone for 6 months or whatever till we get Lower Decks, and then roughly, now that the writers are back to work. I did read an article that ironically came out the day before we started this podcast, and they did said that that they're going to start pre-production on Strange New World season 3. I believe in December. It says, so that's good news to hear. But even if they do start in December, they have to write everything first. They have to get the stars ready. They have to.
The
get
writing strike's been over
ready.
for a while longer though, Gray. So it's
But a lot of writers. No. The writers were still holding back though, in sympathy to the actors.
Are they allowed to do that?
They do whatever they want. If they just
They
just don't turn out.
Contract, yeah.
They don't just turn out as much material as quickly. That's all. So anyway, so now that it's all done, they go into production. But now you got to figure out, right? So if they start in production December, when will it actually hit the air? Well, it's going to be at least 6 months, and more likely 9 months to be able to produce everything, even the CG that has to be done. So I'm thinking at the earliest it's going to be 9 months, from December.
That could be faster. Why can't they do the CGI a bit sooner? Like write the episodes and then start the CGI while they're filming.
Part of the problem with the CGI is because it takes a very long time to do those effects, and the CGI houses are way behind with lots of shows.
Oh, they're going to be booked out. You need to pay to get to the top.
Yes, exactly. Now there are some and here's the thing: not a lot of companies, not a lot of groups want to go into the CGI business right away, because they're afraid that if they go into the CGI business and then things slow down a little bit, then they go out of business. This Hollywood will only support a couple of CGI companies. If you get too many of them, they're going to suffer. So you're stuck with having to have a longer time of getting the CGI effects done. So in any case, even if it's 9 months at best, which I would find probably at best, then you're talking again the end of 2024, more likely the beginning of 2025. So now we're talking about another good year to a year and 3 months or whatever. Well, we're going to have no Star Trek for huge gaps.
What we'll have next year, let's say we have this date of February, although I don't know where great I believe you. I don't know where you're getting February from. All I'm seeing is early 2024. So it could be January.
Yeah,
but it's
I read an article not too long ago that that's what they were shooting for. It doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's an estimation only. So
and if it is April or something, wow, we're going to have a long time before something new comes on.
So if it's early 2024, it's got to be between January and March and close up, surely. So for me, I think Discovery comes out and wraps it up nicely. Its arc of redemption, if you want. 10 episodes, 2.5 months in February, and then there'll be another long break because they have to start making everything else. What we've got Lower Decks season 5. That's going to take a while. Strange New World season 3, but on top of that as well, they have got a movie that they want to do as well. There's maybe going to be another show that maybe if Legacy comes about, that would probably take place after the new season of Strange New Worlds.
At the rate this is going right now, we're not going to see Legacy till 2025 easily.
Oh, 2026, mate. You're being far too generous.
Well,
it will take place after Strange New Worlds, more than likely, remember? So there's only 3 shows they want to do, so they have to sacrifice one of them. And also, as well, Although it's happening, it's not happening, it's happening, it's not happening. That Star Trek Academy show that Kurtzman's been pushing for so much, which no one wants to see,
Nope.
that's still possibility. So, I
I hope
mean,
not. God.
let's not forget about. We can't forget about Prodigy season 2, which was what we're supposed to be talking about
Yeah.
at the first point, because as people know, and if you don't know, Netflix have the rights to season both 1 and 2. So they're going to start showing season 1, even though it's already been shown by Paramount, from next month at some point, I believe. And then I would imagine they're going to have a small break in between season 1 and season 2. They don't want to show it immediately. Why would you? You want to spread out your content like everyone else is doing. So, but then this is the thing, Gray. There's 20 episodes of Prodigy, right? They will probably, I think, class that as one season and show all back to back. They may allow you to binge, they may not, but even if they allow you to binge, there will be a gap. So I don't think they show season 2 of... If we see season 2 of Prodigy in the first half of 2024, I'll be gobsmacked. It'll probably be the second half. I hope I'm wrong, because it's up to them. Unless there's something in the contract when they show it.
I think you're probably right, for the simple reason that they want to try to milk the first season of Prodigy as much as they can. So they're going to show it. Now, here's the only thing I'm wondering, though. Since season 1 was also around 20 episodes, are they going to show all 20 season 1 and have people binge? It's also quite likely that they'll do 10 and then the other 10
like they do with The Witcher. They split
Correct.
it in.
So if they do that, because to them, the audience that's going to be viewing Prodigy is a new audience. Yes, you're going to have the people coming over that love Trek. I get it. But it's really a new thing, a new audience. So if I were Netflix, I'd do 10 and 10. Now, if they do 10 and 10, and let's say if we're being good about this, that starts whatever, January of 24, let's say after the holidays or whatever. So they show 10. Then they're going to wait, probably at least a month, maybe 2, before they get to the other 10. So now you're talking about March. And then they have season 2, which is the big thing because no one's seen it. And then what? Another 2 to 3 months before they have the first 10 of season 2. So now you're pushing all the way to summer of 2024, and it could even be later than that.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping what I'm hoping what happens though, is that if we are going to get Discovery, again, if we are going to get Discovery in February, then maybe season 2 of Prodigy would follow soon after on Netflix. So you would jump from Paramount Plus over to Netflix, watch Prodigy season 2, and then by the time you're done seeing some of that and come back, another Trek maybe coming right behind it, or maybe a movie or something like that. So maybe we won't have so much downtime, but there is going to be downtime. There's just no two ways about it.
Unfortunately, I think you're probably right there. I think Netflix will take little breaks in between. They have a mixture of shows that you can binge and shows that are spread out week by week. And I think that the binge system, while it's great for us, it's not great business for them. You want to spread it out to keep people subscribed. It's just business common sense, but they have a mixture of shows on there. So and if they split it into a season 1.5, Gray, in Netflix's defense, they tend to not leave a big break in between their little mid-season break, So like the other shows they've done, there's not been a massive break there. So I'd like to think we would get season 1 out of the way pretty quickly, and then we see what happens with season 2. And that's maybe a good thing, because maybe season 2 comes on of Prodigy after Discovery's finished, not long after it's finished, and then that way we've got a bit of a seamless continuation. I don't like the fact it went to Netflix in the first place, but I understand why. They were trying to make money, and it will probably all go back to... We discussed this in GGR, in Gray's pod, that it's probably going to all revert eventually back to the old system of Netflix and Prime having most of these shows, because they can
comes
pay for
around,
them.
goes around.
Yeah, and Prodigy, they made a small profit off of that, whereas every other season of Trek they've done, they've lost money.
The only thing that kills me is I really like Prodigy a lot. So before all this went down, that we knew Prodigy was getting canceled on one and picked up by the other, we had the clip that they showed, about a 2-minute clip of season 2. And I'm going like, wow, this is great. And then all of a sudden, you ain't seeing it for a long time. Oh. I said, you kidding me?
Yeah, it's just a tease of the Voyager A, which I'm all about because
It was so good, man. I'm sitting there going like, wow, if the whole Prodigy season 2 is going to be like that, I'm like, I'm going to have a lot of fun with that show. So unfortunately, we have to sit there and wait and wait and wait and wait.
that's the fun of CGI or sorry, animation, that it pretty much for the most part costs the same because whatever they're doing, they're animating it. So there is no special effects, and it's all special effects kind of really in animation form.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the actual. I thought that'd be something we'll have to look up, but I don't know what the actual cost of Prodigy versus Lower Decks would be. I would assume that Lower Decks would cost less money because
The
it's
animation
not
is
a.
better on Prodigy.
Yeah, when you're talking about more of a realistic animation style, or that looks more.
It's more CGI, isn't it,
Oh yeah, there's
than
no
yeah,
doubt,
than
and the
this.
effects are much more refined in Prodigy too. I would think that one would cost and take definitely longer.
Well, it's done anyway,
So
so we know that much.
right, so that's why I think we'll see Lower Decks pop up sooner than anything else after Discovery. I
And they
just,
have the rights to season 3 of Prodigy if they want, but they want to see it obviously how
right,
season 1 and 2 will do, which is good. So yeah, go back to the old system, and that price that Netflix charge of £18 or £20 for the top package will actually be more justified because right now it's a bloody con Netflix and you know it, but people will pay
yeah,
it. So yeah, there is going to be big lulls, Grey, for sure. There's nothing we can do about that apart from do
nope,
specials and stuff and watch on old episodes. So if anyone's got any ideas of Star Trek specials, like subjects, characters, starships, whatever that they like, that you want us to just do the same format as now, where it's just raw, chatting about it, going off in different tangents, two mates talking about Star Trek, let us know for sure. I think we've pretty much covered everything. We're going to
I
enjoy the
think so.
Trek we can, because once Prodigy season 2 and Discovery's out the way, that is so. 2024 might not be. It might not be. Certainly, the first half won't be awful, but the second half and maybe some of 2025, we're going to be without Star Trek for a while because, like as Grace said before, they're just starting up again. So you
Yeah.
won't see anything probably until 2025. So enjoy it while we can, and then God, we'll worry about what comes next then.
Yep.
Right.
And we have, just so the people out there know, Trevor and I have a couple ideas for a couple more specials that we won't get into right now. And if, like he said, if you have any ideas, please put them down there if you want to see something different. But whereas we might not come on every week, we're certainly going to try to see if we can come up with a couple specials here and there.
Yeah, it's got to
Yeah.
be interesting for sure. It's got to
Yeah.
be something we enjoy. There was a little part of me that was getting a bit fatigued, and I'd never wanted to feel. I never want to
Right.
feel fatigued. I never want to feel like a chore. Always want to enjoy what I'm doing. So, doing Star Trek specials, if it's a good subject, we will. We have some like best of and ranked things. I'll be honest, I don't like doing loads of them because I like to mix it up. So there's a couple of them could be in there for sure, along with other things as well. As long as it's kind of interesting, that's the main thing. But yeah, put comments below what you want to see. Forget about the thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't care about that. Just give me comments. Give me comments, good or bad. Let me know. Greg cares about it, but I don't care about it. It's fine. But yeah,
Comments are always better.
yeah, exactly. It's your feedback's really important. What you like, you don't
Well,
like.
I'll tell you another reason. Not that we don't like thumbs up, but generally speaking, YouTube is the thumbs down thing doesn't even show up anymore.
Oh, I know a way
Uh,
around that, but yes, that's a good point.
right, exactly. So it's kind of like comments are better because at least people are, if you're commenting, those are, true hardcore fans and etc. So comments
Yeah,
are always cool.
yeah. And there is a possibility. I'll probably attempt to do the live thing as well, certainly for reviews, and maybe the odd Star Trek game or something. I could maybe do some live sessions on that as well. Like just stream it live on YouTube,
Hmm.
because there are a couple of Star Trek games out. One came out a
Could be
while
fun.
back,
We
and
could
one
we
came out
could
recently.
run, yeah, we could run something like Resurgence, and the two of us will comment on it or joke
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's not very. People are falling asleep playing it. Or no, was that the story-driven one, or was that the one
No,
that
no,
was the turn
Resurgence
story?
has done okay.
No, it was the one that came out recently that was the
Oh,
turn-based
yeah,
one. Can't remember what that was
yeah.
called. That wasn't great, but yeah. Anyway,
No.
digress. It's a possibility. So yeah, we'll sign off for this week. We just wanted to talk about future Trek, and let me know what you're going to do without any Star Trek in your life. Again, in the comments below. Don't forget GGR as well. That says pod. We'll be back soon talking all things entertainment. And every Thursdays we'll talk all things gaming and pop into the Discord, which I'll link below. Until next time, thanks for coming along, Gray. Thanks for listening and watching, people. And do your thing, Mr. Gray.
Live long and prosper, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, bye.